Hi guys, I hope you're really well. Alors salut tout le monde, j'espère que vous allez tous très bien. So today's video is something different. Donc la vidéo d'aujourd'hui est quelque chose de différent. So I'm not going to teach anything. Alors je vais rien enseigner. I mean, I suppose you've got the translation. Je suppose que vous avez quand même la traduction. But I really wanted to talk about an application. J'avais carrément envie, tellement envie de vous parler d'une application. So, a bit of background, alors un peu d'histoire. Lots of people contact me because obviously, you know, I have a channel where people are learning a language. Alors, il y a beaucoup de personnes qui me contactent parce qu'évidemment, j'ai une chaîne. Ouais, il y a des gens qui apprennent, enfin, tu as une langue. And by people, I mean companies who want me to sponsor things or mention things or, you know, do adverts for things. Alors, c'est-à-dire, tu as, ouais, il y a des entreprises qui veulent que je fasse enfin, tu as de la publicité, tu as, que j'en parle. And I've always, up until now, kind of been a bit, you know, resistant to this idea because I basically just didn't want you watching the videos with a load of yellow lines and shit interrupting the video. Parce que jusqu'à maintenant, j'ai pas été trop pour parce que tu vois, j'avais absolument aucune envie de vous obliger à voir, tu as plusieurs petites lignes jaunes, machin. But I myself have just started using an application that I actually downloaded 2 years ago, and I kind of never quite got around to using it. But I'm just really enjoying the whole process. Mais ouais, ça fait 2, 3 semaines effectivement que je me sers d'une application. En fait, je l'ai téléchargée il y a 2 ans, mais ouais, il m'a quand même fallu 2 ans pour m'en servir. And it's brilliant. So it's called EWA. It's spelt EWA, like the Polish Ava, I believe. And the picture on the application is a rather fetching girl with a bright purple hair, which is obviously kind of cool. Donc l'application en question s'appelle Eva, alors à la polonaise. Il y a une petite fille avec les cheveux enfin, violets, mauve, machin. C'est plutôt splendide. And yeah, it's just absolutely brilliant. And let me tell you why. Alors c'est formidable et je vais vous dire pourquoi. So, I think reading is important. Alors moi je pense que tu as la lecture est très 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 importante. You often hear me say, don't visualize, use the sounds, don't be constructing the sentences with your eyes. Alors souvent vous m'entendez dire, alors arrêtez de visualiser, tu as toutes vos phrases, arrêtez de construire vos phrases avec les yeux. But that doesn't mean I don't like reading, that just means I want you to get used to speaking with sound. Ok? Mais ça ne veut pas forcément dire que j'aime pas la lecture, ça veut juste tout simplement dire je veux que vous vous habituiez à construire enfin, vos phrases avec le son, avec le côté phonétique. So, but Ava's just really good. It just allows you to read a load of, I mean, it has grammar lessons, it has many other functions on there. Everything's available, tout est disponible. But the thing I love about it is that you can bring up a book in a language and you can start reading your book. And if there's a word you don't understand, you click on the word and it will straight away tell you what the word means. Donc c'est possible de télécharger enfin, un bouquin, un livre, et commencer à le lire. Et s'il y a un mot que vous ne comprenez pas, vous cliquez dessus, traduction. So then at the side, there's another little symbol, encore un symbole, there's you can look at the whole, you can look at your paragraphs. So in other words, it will give you the translation of that whole sentence instead of just the word. Donc c'est possible de voir la traduction de toute la phrase et pas uniquement le mot en question. You can then add it to, and I know a lot of people on this that have used me in the past like to write down lists and like to use applications where you add a word to your pile to learn and then you remove the word eventually when it's something that you don't know anymore. Donc je sais qu'il y a beaucoup de personnes parmi vous, effectivement vous adorez pouvoir ajouter un mot à votre petite collection de vocabulaire et enlever le mot finalement. And I've told people to do that. Alors, you know, moi j'ai dit aux gens de le faire. So for example, I told you to record with voice recorder, a grammar point, and then listen to those points every day. And if there's one, when you start understanding them, just to delete it. Donc je vous ai dit d'enregistrer, enfin un peu de grammaire, et effectivement, quand vous avez tout compris, supprimer ce fichier. So I like that about it. I like the choice of books. There's a really good choice of books. J'aime bien leur sélection, leur choix de livres, de bouquins. It's just a really good. You can also, this is another thing. So I would say, obviously, French and English are my languages. Évidemment, tu as le français, l'anglais, enfin, sont mes langues. My Spanish is kind of like PhD level. Alors, mon espagnol, c'est plutôt alors niveau doctorat. My Italian's kind of master's level, but it's just the one that I like to just push a little bit. Donc, effectivement, de toutes mes langues, c'est l'italien qui est le plus faible, la plus faible. So, yeah, so in my case, I did it for the Italian. Alors, personnellement, moi, je l'ai fait pour l'italien. But it's brilliant. I just think it's a really good application. Some nice books. You can do it for the year. On peut s'abonner pour l'année. You can sign up for the month. On peut s'abonner pour le mois. Yeah, I have to absolutely 100% declare and stress. Alors moi, je dois souligner, stresser. I have zero financial benefit from you signing up to it. So I contacted them and said, listen, I'm gonna do a review on you. I really like your product. You know, a subscription would be nice, given, you know, that I work in languages. Alors moi, j'aime bien votre produit. J'aimerais bien un abonnement. But that's it. One off. It's not, you know, for every 10 of you that join, I make money, which is what I'm normally offered by probably about 3 companies a week. And I know that sounds incredibly stupid. You'll be like, Luke, why don't you do this kind of thing? You could be sitting by the ocean instead of sitting next to a picture, a painting of the ocean. Vous pourriez vous asseoir à côté de l'océan au lieu de vous asseoir devant une image de l'océan. Yeah, no, it's just not my bag. It's just not the way I roll. I like to try and be like, we're a separate little community at Logic Language Learning, and I really respect it. But I'm just loving this application, and I thought, well, I'm going to tell my lot about it anyway. Alors, je vais vous en parler de toute façon. So I contacted them and I said, right, you know, I think that's fair. And they said, yeah, fine, that's fair. You know, they didn't come down heavy. Ils étaient pas lourdas. They weren't, okay, here's a contract for everybody that you mention. You know, for everybody that signs up to us, we'll do that. You know, they were just cool. They were really chilled. Ils étaient super zen and détendus. So check them out. So it's EWA, E-W-A, EWA. Yeah, it's just, there is always a pleasure of reading a story. Il y a toujours un plaisir de lire une histoire. Now, you know I recommend other websites for reading, obviously. Alors, je vous recommande fortement de lire d'autres sites web, par exemple, News in Slow Spanish, News in Slow French, News in Slow Italian, News in Slow German. This is just a wonderful resource. But you don't always want to do current affairs. On n'a pas toujours envie de faire tout ce qui est actualité. Sometimes you just want to read a damn good book. You know, sometimes you want to read the good book, as we've been doing with John recently. So I'm talking about La Bible. So yeah, so check it out. Under no obligation from me. It's a really, 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 really useful application. C'est une application très utile. On a final note, alors en conclusion, can I remind you, whatever French you do, listen to other people, listen to other channels, listen to other resources. By all means, get textbooks. Just do what you're doing out loud. Whatever you do, please just use your muscle memory. Alors, pitié, je vous supplie. Alors, je vous prie d'utiliser la mémoire musculaire, because otherwise it's no good. Ça sert à rien. Ça sert pas à grand chose. You can't memorize things. An example that I gave to people this week, if you went to a supermarket on a given day and you walk into the supermarket and you think, right, I definitely need rice, so I need some shower gel and I need some tomatoes or whatever. When you're there on that day, you completely remember the thing that you went in there for, okay? Donc si vous allez au supermarché pour quoi que ce soit, vous avez besoin d'un gel douche, machin, des tomates, quoi que ce soit, à l'avenir, vous savez exactement pourquoi vous êtes là. But in, say, 3-4 weeks' time, alors dans 3-4 semaines, if I said to you, do you remember what you were buying in the supermarket on a Thursday 4 weeks ago? Est-ce que vous vous souvenez de ce que vous achetiez au supermarché il y a 4 semaines? I would be astonished. if anybody could remember it. Okay, ce serait quand même étonnant, étonnant. And that's a little bit the same with grammar and vocabulary sometimes, is you read it and you think, that's completely in my brain. Alors vous venez de le lire et vous vous dites, voilà, c'est bien, je l'ai là. And it's just not the case, c'est pas le cas. You need to have it in your muscle memory. Vous avez besoin de l'avoir, enfin, effectivement, ça doit faire partie de la mémoire musculaire. You need to say these things. You need to get them part of the muscle memory, the language center in the brain. So this application's fabulous, perfect. But please, whatever French you come across or whatever else you're studying, please just say it out loud. Please, it's a different way of the brain working. Good, so check them out then. So Eva, EWA, the girl with the mauve hair. If you just went into, App Store or what is it on Android? I forget. And just typed in Eva. I'd imagine they're available online as well. Are they not just an application? I couldn't honestly tell you, but they're a really, really good little resource. Very good little resource. Okay, try them out. All right, I hope this is useful. And like I said, for me to recommend something, because if you know a language learning website, if you have done one, I can promise you they've contacted me and asked for me to promote them. Really, and I just don't do promotions very often for this kind of thing. I just think you guys are big enough and smart enough to make your own decisions, but this I'm just finding is filling a hole, that possibly in terms of your reading, that I just think, it's just ultimately, I tell you what it is. When I learned Spanish, which is, God, how old was I? Like, as in the States for one. We're talking, so I'm 44, so we're talking, God, I must have been like 24, 25. So 20 years ago, il y a 20 ans. Every single word that I learned, I had to look up go and type and look up and look all of this kind of business, or sometimes just even use a dictionary. Alors des fois, je me servis de dico. And I've got friends who've got French degrees. Alors moi, j'ai des amis qui ont des licences en français, and every word they learned on their French degree, they had to look up in a dictionary. Can you fucking imagine how long that would take? So, in other words, we are in such a marvelous situation now that we read a word, click on it, and off you go. We've got the we've got the translation. So make use of it. Yeah, make use of it. All right, guys, let me know if you find this kind of content interesting. If you think, oh, actually, Luke, other than grammar and vocabulary and other bits and pieces, we like to hear your recommendations, but just let me know what you think. Anyway, check them out. Eva, the link will be underneath. Marvelous. And get reading some lovely stories. I myself am working my way through Sherlock Holmes. Alors moi, je vais parcourir Sherlock Holmes, Dracula, all of this kind of stuff. There's some classics on there. There's some really good stuff. All right, guys, loads of love. Take care.